Hi, soldiers. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Now Experts Time channel. We are discussing the transformation series. We just completed two transformation with respect to software asset management and change management in my earlier videos. If you want to see more, please refer those videos. So the current session we are talking about the integration transformation area. The first video I just explained uh, what is a integration classification. In this integration classification, how ServiceNow is helping, that type of explanation I have already given in the video number one, that means episode one. So in today's session, we are going to talk about that integration types. How many types are there? Only two types in the integration. Is it a unidirectional or a bidirectional? This is a common statement or common expectation from the business side. Unidirectional means, uh, either ServiceNow should send the data to third party or third party should send the data to ServiceNow. Any one. If you take these two items, that means third party to ServiceNow and ServiceNow to third party, that's what we call it as a bidirectional integration. Most of the business they will expect this unidirectional and bidirectional implementation in the ServiceNow business instance. But some other customers they have some other requirement. Instead of bidirectional, they need a tri-directional or some other directional. Depends the tool or depends the requirement, we can change it. But the main foundation is unidirectional and bidirectional is a main foundation. Uh, so for this case, there is a mechanism followed globally. That means push mechanism, and another one is a pull mechanism. So pushing means third party pushing the data to ServiceNow, or ServiceNow pushing the data to third party. Pull mechanism means ServiceNow pull the data from third party, or third party will pull the data from ServiceNow. So this push and pull mechanism is pretty much important part in this integration type. Why? What is the reason is, who is going to push? Either ServiceNow push the data or third party push the data. We need to understand it. Or who is going to pull? ServiceNow is pulling the data from your third party, or third party is pulling the data from ServiceNow. So if this idea is clear, then ServiceNow side what we should work, we will have a clarity. Third party side what they should work, they will get some clarity. If this is not clear, or if this is not clarified, then it is a little difficult. What item ServiceNow took a responsibility, what item third party took a responsibility? So that is a big question mark in this implementation phase. So the main thing is, understand, is it a unidirectional or bidirectional? Depends the business requirement. Next, who is going to push, who is going to pull, that agreement also we need to take it. So when we talk this push pull mechanism, there is a common points available in this integration. What are all the common points? I specifically defined as a six common points here. Actually, that six common point, first I will consider as a endpoint. So which endpoint I need to send? That means if a ServiceNow side we are pushing, then ServiceNow should understand this is a www.google.com slash something like that. Endpoint, it's like address. So sending the data from ServiceNow to third party. If that is a case, then ServiceNow should know what address I need to send the data. You take in a reverse way. If third party is trying to send the data to ServiceNow means, As a technician from ServiceNow side, we need to generate a table, and we need to prepare that address or endpoint, and we need to share the detail to third party. So third party will consume it, and they will share the data or transfer the data. The same is applicable from ServiceNow side as well. Third party will share the URL, ServiceNow will consume that URL. Based on the consumption, ServiceNow will transfer the data to third party. So this endpoint is playing a pretty much important role. It is helping to ensure your handshake of two systems, three systems, like that. So once the endpoint is there, normally we will not allow the transaction, right? Is it a valid secured transaction or non-secured transaction? Is it a generic user or a non-generic user? How it is classified is based on this service accounts. So you take your scenario, if you want to log in service now, without the credential you cannot log in, right? In case if you are logging, that is a generic user, you have a very limitation. You cannot do all activity. But when you are a trusted user, then you can do a some specific set of activity compared to your generic user. So the same is applicable here. Once you received this endpoint, then service account, it is explaining this is a trusted user, is a valid user, to enable this handshake between two systems. So this item, it is covered in this endpoints and service accounts scenario. So both are dependent, endpoints and service accounts. Both it is helping to support handshake between the two systems. I think this too it's clear. So once the this item is clear, then what it will do is it will go for a field mapping. That means what data should transfer to third party, or third party what data I need to transfer to service now. That definition defined in this field mapping. You take a sample example. We have a priority. There also have a priority. In the priority side, we have a P1, P2, P3. Third party side, they have a priority called a critical, high, medium. So in this condition, which is a source, which is a designation, based on that we need to do that manipulation. Because if you take this item, ServiceNow side, ServiceNow is receiving the data. The time when it should consider as a critical, when it should consider as a medium, when it should consider as a low, as P1, P2, P3. That definition we need to define it. So those mechanisms all are handled in this field mapping. So remember this point. This is a very key portion here, because this only helping to evaluate your integration is pushing or pulling the data correctly or not. So it's playing a vital role. Put our thought process here and put our lens, micro lens here, and check field to field mapping. If it is a free text field, good, because there is no manipulations are there, it's a direct mapping. But when it is a reference field, or when it is a choice field, when it is a checkboxes, so those are all the area any manipulation we should do, check it. That is pretty much important for us. So field mapping, it's a one of the major portion to evaluate this integration is correctly functioning or not correctly functioning. I think the 3 points we covered. Next, when the field mapping is done, then integration is done. The next is acknowledgement. That means the data is transferred from ServiceNow to third party, or third party to ServiceNow. The data is reached or not, how we can ensure it? To ensure this item, we call it as acknowledgement. So acknowledgement, normally it's like a response, correct? So if one data is flowing from ServiceNow to third party should send, I received the data, I didn't receive the data, your data is not right. That type of message it should bring, so that ServiceNow can understand, okay, I send the data, I think I wrongly sent the data, I think I mandate information, I didn't send the data, that's the reason I'm getting an error. That message it will clearly highlighted in your acknowledgement section. So acknowledgements also, it's like a error handling portion, like whether that data successfully transferred to the third party or received the third party. from service now to third party scenario are not received. That conclusion we can come with the help of this acknowledgement. This acknowledgement service now, it is classified as a codes, like a 200, 201, 400, 401, 404, like that. If it is a 200 or 201, it is a successful transaction from service now to your third party or third party to your service now. This code is common. So that's what I highlighted as acknowledgement. If it is a 401, then it is authentication error. Username or credential is not right from service now side or a third party side, something like that. That error it will display. Next, 404, like something web page is not available or system is not up, something like that. So those type of item, it can be identified with the help of this acknowledgement. So similar way, you can define this acknowledgement customized manner. You can define some error code in a different uh, number, depends your business requirement, and you can handle this information in this acknowledgement. And last and final thing is error handling and retry mechanism. These two are a dependent one. So when you talk about this error handling and retry mechanism, that means when your acknowledgement it shows an error, like a system up or system down scenario. Take it your one sample use cases. Service now is sending a transaction to your third party. Unfortunately, third party is down. Our third party is sending a transaction to service now. Unfortunately, service now is down. So in that scenario, system needs to try one more time this transaction, another time. Some retry mechanism we need to build it. So normally this retry mechanism is handled in your service now flow designer well. For any reason, if you are using a Go and traditional method, ECCQ it is supporting. It is a old version. ECCQ it's supporting also for your error handling and retry mechanism scenario, specifically in the retry mechanism scenario. So you can use that functionality. So this is pretty straightforward. Try to reach the system is not reachable, then source system is trying to reach again and again. That's what we call it as a retry mechanism. So we need to put the definition there also. 5 time or 6 time you need to try. In case if it is not successful, leave it. That's the message we are defining in this retry mechanism. Next, error handling. When the retry mechanism is run, then sixth time or fifth time it is running, then it is not successful. You are defining the threshold value as 5 times or 6 times, something like that. So after that, till it is failure, immediately one auto incident will be created in service now and intimate to your service now technician. This integration is not working. This integration is failure, something like that. Or this flow is failure. That message it should show. Correct. So that's what we call it as a error handling. So this is not that much a big item. It's very simple. So you can achieve it. This error handling can be achieved through the help of your retry mechanism. Each retry mechanism acknowledgement will be showcased with the error code. Based on the error code, you can decide what type of incident ticket needs to be created. Is it a P1 ticket or P2 ticket or P3 ticket? Created and assigned to the appropriate ServiceNow technician. They will work it and they will solve the problem from the integration aspect. So that's the protocol. Normally it will work. I will repeat one more time. Unidirectional and bidirectional. Push and pull mechanism it will be used. Push means service now to third party or third party to service now. Pull means the same is applicable. Instead of pushing, we are pulling the data from source system to destination or destination system to source. So that can be defined in this item. This pull push mechanism is applicable for our entire integration structure. The common item for this unidirectional and bidirectional is these 6 items, specifically endpoint and service accounts. Endpoints, it's like a web address. Which system I need to connect? That definition handled via this endpoints. And if this transaction is a valid user is creating or non-valid user is creating, that the definition is also defined in this service accounts. So endpoints and service accounts both are dependent. So generic transaction will not be allowed because it is not a trusted transaction. only we need to allow the trusted transaction with the trusted user. So to handle the scenario, service accounts will help you. Once these two it is done, then go to the field mapping. This field mapping, it is supporting to handle your data mapping. So priority to priority mapping, or description to description mapping, short description to short description mapping. So those type of item we talk about this field mapping. Next thing is acknowledgement. Once the transaction is done, then mapping also done, then the receiver should send the acknowledgement to the source system. It is success or it is not success. That acknowledgement, it is based on your error code. If it is 200 or 201, it is a successful. 400, 404, 401, those are all the error codes normally we will use it. If you want to customize your code based on your business requirement, that is also doable. Next, error handling and retry mechanism. That means when the acknowledgement is sending to them, it's trying to reach your system. Unfortunately, your system is not up, then it will try some defined length, like 5 times or 4 times or 3 times. After that length, then it will come to the conclusion the system will not support for this transaction. Then immediately the error handling approach will trigger in, will create the auto incident and assign to the appropriate team, and they will work on it, what was the problem in the integration. So this item, if you are clear, then you can handle your integration item very effectively. So this is the second episode to understand that integration type and common items. We have a few more episodes to discuss about more detailed manner about that unidirectional integration and bidirectional integration. Stay tuned with this channel. Hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you. Good day and good boy.